Okay, I think it's time to start this party, everybody. I'm Janine Ryder, and I'm president of the board this year. And I'm so happy to welcome you all. I'm delighted that this many of you decided it was worth sitting in on some good land trust time, hearing about what we're doing, seeing some of the good things we're having, and just having a festive moment, even if we are just at home. Now, I am surprised to see that you didn't put on your bow ties, white
Well, I
shirts,
wish I could hear
formal
what she's
wear
saying.
for this party. But I guess when you're sitting back next to your computer, it's nicer to be just as you are now. Thank you for coming. We've had a fabulous year at the Land Trust, despite all the difficulties of COVID and being at home and working virtually and having meetings virtually. But our staff and everybody has done such a wonderful job of doing so many good works toward conserving land. And with that, I would just like to turn it over to Rob Bleiberg, who's going to
see that just
particulars.
Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to see all of your faces on my screen and your names as well. For those who have your cameras turned off, you may want to go to a speaker view a little later as we have some presentations, just so they fill your whole screen. And to do that, in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, there should be a little view icon. And if you click on that, you can have speaker or gallery view. If you want to see the Brady Bunch action, keep it on gallery view. If you want to see the speaker view, if you want to see the presentation, though, please change to the speaker view. I wanted to just take a minute to give you a little preview of what we're going to be doing this evening, and also to thank and recognize some underwriters who have helped make this evening possible. We really value your time this evening, and we know a lot of us have Zoom fatigue after months of this, so we've really designed an agenda that will be concise, and we hope will leave you wanting more. But in terms of this evening, I have a couple of brief introductory remarks now. We are really fortunate tonight to be able to benefit from the wonderful artwork and music of first Annie Hughes and Pat Hubbard, who have been longtime volunteers and supporters and landowners who have conserved properties. And many of you know Annie and Pat, and Annie and Pat have shared some original music that we're going to play after I'm done here, accompanied by some photos from the Land Trust past and our history. After that, Malcolm Childers is going to share his incredible photography and his composition as well. And we have about a 7 or 8 minute slideshow of Malcolm's fine art photos of protected properties. We're going to come back to me. I have a few remarks I want to share with you, and then we'll have a toast to celebrate 40 years. Of course, we'd much rather be seeing you in person. We had grand plans at the beginning of the year. I think there are a half dozen events that were planned, and we were actually a little nervous about event fatigue. We will be looking forward to next year celebrating in person and appropriately when we can all be together. But another thing that we want to do tonight, just in case you guys are relaxing with your drink and sitting back there is a test this evening. It's going to be delivered in 3 different parts, and we'll see just how deep and broad your land trust trivia knowledge is. And I'm just going to look through my notes to make sure I'm not forgetting anything else, and of course I am. Before jumping into that, I want to thank and recognize some wonderful supporters who have helped make this evening and the Land Trust work possible. Our presenting sponsor underwriter is Helen Love with Wanabo Love, Keller, Mendenhall, Smith at Wells Fargo Advisors. Helen has been so generous for so many years. Thank you, Helen. We also have wonderful, generous support from Lone Eagle Real Estate and First Choice Real Estate. Both Joey Burns and Harry and Joanne Hasimski have been so generous. Our platinum underwriters for this evening are the CART Group and Grand Junction Subaru. We've been very fortunate to benefit from the support of Alpine Bank and Biologic out of Montrose and Sean Connor. Montrose Auto Body has done wonders for our vehicles after some mishaps and been very generous with their support. And then we also have support from Land Title Guarantee, Mandy Harder and Remax 4000, Rocky Mounts, Cropworks. Hi, Larry. Nice to see you. You're in the middle of my screen right now. Chevron and Carrie Baird, Chevron Corporation. And then we also have support from Ruby Canyon Engineering, MRP, Timberline Bank, then Hocker, Smith and Whitmore, attorneys out of Ouray County. And so important to recognize local businesses who have stepped up to support the land trust. And I just encourage all of you during these crazy times to support local businesses whenever we can. And so I will stop there. Again, I am, though I'm sad we're not on the land trust porch, all gathered together. We'll be there soon enough. And I'm just delighted to see all of you here this evening. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to launch into a couple questions to kick us off. Our first poll, and we encourage you to write down your answers on your own. This is we're going to trust you to write down your own answers, but we'd love for you to answer here. So click on, in which county does Colorado West Land Trust not hold conservation easements? So we have extended our service area in the past year, or over the past 3 years, officially in the past year. So in which county have we not held conservation easements to date? I'm going to give it another 10 seconds here. All right, I see a strong leader here, and a couple outliers. So most of you did guess, 66% of you, the correct answer is Pitkin County. You are right. So we hold easements in 6 counties in Western Colorado and in Grand County, Utah. All right, so let's go on to the next question. This is your last question, and we'll move on. What year did Rob Bleiberg become executive director of the Land Trust? So we have options: 1993, 2001, 1996, or 2020. I think some of you may have been on the board or involved with the Land Trust at the time that this happened.
1982.
Sorry, there you go. Now you can see the question too. All right, have some results coming in. Give it another 10 seconds. I'm glad to see no one guessed 2020. That means you've probably been involved with the Land Trust for at least a year or more. Happy to have you here. All right, so looks like results have stopped coming in, and the correct answer is 1996. So, and many of you got that. It looks like, out of the respondents, many of you got that.
1993.
And some of you, I think, were on the board or involved with the Land Trust back then. So thank you. And now I will pass it off to Mary. Are you there? If not, I'll introduce.
We're pleased to share with you some beautiful music and a little timeline from the Land Trust from Annie Hughes and Pat Hubbard.
Hi, everybody. Annie Hughes here. My husband, Pat Hubbard, and I are honored to be providing a couple of tunes for the 40th anniversary celebration. Starting off here with Gotta Roll and some wonderful Land Trust photos from over the years.
I grew up by a railroad track. Freight train ran just 2 streets back. Nights it shook me out of my sleep, and the dishes chattered in the kitchen sink, saying, oh, you gotta roll. On the afternoon of a long hot day, I could hear her coming from far away.
Am I unmuted now? Can you
Yes,
hear
yes.
me?
Yes.
Okay. That was absolutely fabulous. And my question that some of you might have too, I see that it was recording. Will you let us know how we can watch it again? Because I think that was just absolutely wonderful. I was practically in tears a couple of times. How about the rest of you? Don't you think these guys deserve some applause for a wonderful, wonderful slideshow? Thank you very much. And Annie, that music couldn't be better.
Thank you. All right, I'll try not to mess up the order this time of our next event, but we do have a couple more polls to go through. So let me relaunch this. We'll go on to question number 3. For those of you that were paying attention in the slideshow, this answer was actually in the slideshow. So founder John Butler is the longest serving Quilt board member. How many years did he serve? What we won't do is make you do the math of how many hours that means he spent in board meetings over his tenure. I think Rob did actually calculate that up at one point in time, though. It was quite a phenomenal number. All right, I'll give another couple seconds here. A few more results coming in. And I know some of you served alongside John as well. All right, get your votes in quickly. I'm going to end the poll here. And it looks like most of you were paying attention during the slideshow. John, in fact, served for 28 years on the Land Trust Board, from founding until he retired off the board. And we greatly appreciate all his time that he put into the Land Trust. So we'll go on to our next polling question. The Land Trust currently has 125,000 acres conserved. How many conservation easements does this represent? And you will be seeing this number. You haven't maybe seen it yet. It will be coming out in our annual report. All right, I'll give it another couple seconds. All right, hope you're keeping track of this. So the Land Trust has conserved 600 conservation easements, and that's to the dot. We just our 600th conservation easement that we closed on was this fall. We closed on the Jurassic Flats conservation easement, and brings us to 600. So we are happy to be here and look forward to working on many more together. And Mary, now I'll let you introduce Malcolm.
In 2009, I had the great pleasure of meeting a wonderful photographer at one of our Land Trust picnics. He had recently moved to the community and was very enthusiastic about having the chance to get onto conserved properties to take photographs. Since then, we've gone on to partner with him on several projects, including grants through the local Arts Commission to have him frame and display some of the work that he's done for us. So I am pleased and proud to introduce my friend and the husband of Pam Childers, one of our board members, Malcolm Childers, who will introduce his slides.
In 2008, I had a 2-month show at the Western Colorado Center for the Arts, which was sponsored by Chuck and Kendra McDaniel, and I found them to be delightful people. And they invited me up to Penny Ackerman's Ute Valley Ranch for a picnic. And I had no idea what was going on. All I was enjoying the food and all these wonderful people I'd never seen before. And they all went out and walked around the ranch. And I got out on the edge of the ranch, and there was a barren on the very edge of a cliff that went down into a valley. And the barren had all of these water pocket holes in it. And I thought, you know, if this thing gets, if there's rain that falls on these things, this would be a magnificent place to come and photograph. And I walked back to the party, and that's where I met Rob. And I was explaining that, yeah, it would be really, I would really love to be involved in photographing the conserved lands because of treasures like I had just witnessed. At the same time I was doing this, I was writing some classical pieces. The first picture in the slideshow actually is from that, in fact, the first two pictures are actually from those water pockets on the Ute Valley Ranch. And the music accompanies it. I was writing it as I was actually taking the pictures.
Thank you, Malcolm. That was beautiful.
I'm very happy to let you see it.
We're so
Malcolm,
lucky.
it was over the top, just absolutely gorgeous. We live in such a beautiful place, but you kind of condense it down to these very specific, wonderful places. I can't imagine better.
I haven't even begun to touch it. It's beyond belief. Once you get out of the normal and you go into to find things that were conserved by even the Mesa Land Trust, I have 1,000 times more pictures than that.
And you haven't even hit the new areas.
I haven't even touched the new stuff yet.
Oh, we can't wait for those, Malcolm.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. And now I have 2 more polls for you. So get excited. These are our last 2 polls. So really focus. First female in May 2011. This person became the first female president of the Land Trust Board of Directors. And some of you were on the board at this time. I'll give it a couple more seconds here. Looks like we still have a few votes coming in. All right. And once again, it looks like we have people that have been around the Land Trust long enough to remember this. Mithy Bloswich was in fact our first female president of the board of directors. And yeah, we greatly appreciated her in that role and her breaking that glass ceiling for other women presidents to come along. So let's see, now we'll go on to the next question, which is not that one. All right, this is our last question. This is a good trivia question for you. The highest elevation property with the conservation easement is located in which county? I know my dog's really excited about this one. It's making her think of, you know, the summer and getting out and doing some hiking. Don't give her any ideas.
Katie.
All right, so we'll wind down this poll. And the correct answer is Uray County. It is the highest conservation easement, and it's just over 11,000 feet. So we're, yeah, we're very happy to have extended our territory and our service area to down to the south into the San Juan Mountains, and it's a beautiful place to be working. And on to you, Rob.
Hi, I'm sorry we're not able to be together this evening, but that's just the way 2020 has gone. I'm standing here on the Three Sisters property, which I thought was an appropriate place to say thank you and to celebrate our 40th anniversary. If you're seeing this, one of 2 things has happened. The first reason might be that we've had some technical difficulties and my feed is down right now. The second reason might be that we determined that it was safer to do something on tape than to have me go live, and who knows what would come out of my mouth. Anyhow, I'm glad to be here with you virtually. I'm sorry about that. But tonight we are celebrating really something remarkable. 40 years ago, a group of farmers in Palisade came together because they understood, and they formed the Land Trust because they understood that our lands, the landscapes that make Western Colorado what it is, that those landscapes are worth protecting. They're an enduring value. And we're seeing that this year more than ever. We're seeing our community turn to our natural spaces for our well-being like never before, for our mental health, our physical health, our economic health, as well as just our sense of place and identity. So the conservation work that's been accomplished over the last 4 decades is truly remarkable. It's 600 properties. It stretches from the Book Cliffs down to the San Juans, from just into Utah to the Blue Mesa Reservoir. It's 6 counties in Colorado, Grand County, Utah. It's some of my favorite land on this planet. And I have had the great pleasure of working cooperatively with you, with hundreds of landowners, with supporters and other supporters and partners to do something really amazing, and that is to protect this land for future generations. I think that there's some things that just seem so natural and appropriate and right that we sort of take them for granted. Of course, we should be protecting the Three Sisters property. Of course, we should be protecting wildlife habitat and the orchard around Palisade. But of course, the real fact is that none of this happens without the hard work and the vision and the commitment and dedication of so many people, whether it's a landowner, whether it's a founder of the organization, whether it's a donor who quietly writes a check each year. All of us together are making an incredible impact on Western Colorado, and that's something really worth celebrating even in this god-awful year. So as we celebrate 40 years of conservation work, I really want to extend my deepest appreciation to you, and I want to raise a toast in celebration of the work that's been accomplished and the work that's yet to come. Thank you so much.
So a little spoiler alert, the internet's working just fine here, but I wanted to share that. I thought it'd be a little more interesting to see some of the landscapes than just the living room here. But I just want to take a second just to again express how much I appreciate all of the people on this Zoom and so many more, your generosity, your commitment to this community and this region. It's wonderful. I'm looking at Ivan and Jane Wood. Ivan and Jane, the Land Trust started at their kitchen table, and the incorporating the documents that incorporated the organization were signed there. And almost 40 years ago to the month, in November of 1980, I'm seeing former board members who have contributed so much time and expertise over the years. I'm seeing Steve Smith representing the Black Canyon Board and other folks that started conservation work in the North Fork Valley and in Montrose in the 90s. And it's just really remarkable to take a second and consider where we've come. Harry Talbot said they went from radicals to visionaries over the course of the 4 decades. And that's true. The founders who started the organization understood that these landscapes are precious and they wouldn't be protected unless people did things and came together. And all of you have come together and have supported the organization. I'm also delighted that Tommy Latusik is with us today representing former staff members. We have been very fortunate over the decades to have an incredible staff that has really marshaled the enthusiasm and energy of the community to do great things for Mesa County and now far beyond. So I have a beverage here. I encourage all of you to grab a beverage. I thank you for spending 40 minutes of your evening with us tonight. I want to thank Dylan Robertson for his work putting all this together, and Malcolm, thank you. Annie and Pat, thank you. And here's a toast to a generation and a half, 40 years of incredible conservation work and the decades and achievements that lie before us as well. So thank you, and we'll look forward to continuing this celebration in person.
Cheers.
Thank you all for joining us. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at the Colorado West Land Trust 40th Anniversary Celebration. Be warm, be safe, be well, take care. 'Cause the time that we share is precious and rare as a desert in bloom.
There's nothing as dry as this desert, with the merciless sun beating down. The leaves, they roll in the thorns. The rivers run deep underground. There's no place that I'd rather be than the desert after a rain. When the sun rolls aside and the skies open wide, I know that I'll see you again. Oh, the desert's in bloom, and here we are in the late afternoon, just ahead of the stars and the bright yellow blossoms spread a subtle perfume. Oh, the time that we share is precious and rare as a desert in bloom. After the flowers have fallen and only their memory remains, our love will survive, we'll hold it inside like a cactus holds each drop of rain. Oh, the desert's in bloom, and here we are in the late afternoon, just ahead of the stars, and the bright yellow blossoms spread a subtle perfume. Oh, the time that we share is precious and rare as a desert in bloom. Oh, the time that we share is precious and rare as a desert